Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Jess Unscripted. I'm Jess and my life is totally that, unscripted. Today I want to dive into a very personal topic that is very close to my heart. I want to actually open up about my struggles and challenges being diagnosed with a rare brain tumor before surgery and post-surgery. I want to spread awareness on brain tumors, whether it's cancerous or benign. I want to also open up and spread awareness about mental health when you're dealing with a chronic condition or illness, something like this. But most importantly, I want to open up an area and spread love and positivity and motivate each other and support each other with individuals that are dealing and struggling with certain situations, and not just with brain tumor. But in my story, my battle started when I was informed and diagnosed with a rare brain tumor. Those of you may not know, in February of 2021 is when my life was flipped upside down. The doctor diagnosed me with a benign brain tumor called an acoustic neuroma. Some people may ask, what is that? It's also known as a vestibular schwannoma. An acoustic neuroma is easier to say, so that's what we're going to stick with. It is a benign brain tumor, benign meaning non-cancerous. It is developed in your nerve response that is responsible for your hearing and balance, which is called your vestibular nerve. The nerve is located in the inner ear canal, closest to the brain. And if we all know how anatomy works, there is no room for anything extra in the head besides what was created by God in there. So to say that I was shocked to hear those words was an understatement. It has been a roller coaster ride for me since the date that I was told, filled with all kinds of emotions, all aspects of everything. I've been very, very happy to very, very sad. So I was just a world of stuff that I want to shed light on. A lot of people don't talk about it. They deal with their struggles and they don't shed light so that others can see and understand that you're not alone. Within my personal struggle, the moments that I was told about my brain tumor, and I promised myself that I wasn't going to cry doing this. I didn't think it was going to be difficult speaking of it, but I've made this video like 3 times because I get emotional and it's very hard to talk about it because it's very raw and real and still ongoing. So please be kind and bear with me as I try to gather all of my thoughts together. I will try to make this very short, but I am human, and I'm still dealing with this every day. So when I was told that I had this rare brain tumor, life that I knew it stood still. Honestly and truthfully, I froze. I mean, the people froze. I felt like I was in Twilight Zone. I felt like this wasn't real. I was in a nightmare that I couldn't get out of, that I desperately wanted to wake up from, and I couldn't. I remember thinking of my children and my family. How would life be without me? What's going to happen to them? At the time, I had a 16-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1.5-month-old child that depended on me. And I went from being an independent, strong-willed person to someone being so fragile and frayed, which was very hard for me. At that moment, I was filled with so much emotions, main one being fear, then followed by anger, then followed by an unwaveringly amount of uncertainties, because they didn't know what was going to happen. At that moment in time, I didn't know how life would be. if there would be a continuation of life, or would my children be visiting me in a graveyard? Would I see my daughter graduate high school? Would I see my son go to kindergarten? Would I see him graduate high school himself? Would I see my daughter get married? Would I grow old with my husband? Would I see my mom and dad retire? Would we have more Christmases? And how would life be? And it was just a whirlwind of emotions that I still deal with. And I'm trying not to cry, but it's very raw and emotional for me, because these are things that I've held in for so long. And I don't like to talk about it, just because it's such a real thing that no one needs to think about at the age of 36. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But I found myself questioning everything. I am a God-fearing person. I have a strong faith and was raised in church. And at that moment, I felt myself questioning, why me? I felt myself being angry with this path that I was placed on. But mainly I kept asking God, why me? Why would I go through this? And why would this be affecting so many people? But why me kept ringing in my ears as days progressed and more doctor's appointments and things moved forward. I remember speaking to my husband, my best friend, and my mom first. Those were the first three people that I told the moment I left a doctor's office. And I remember telling them bluntly, with no emotion, no type of expression, just frozen voice speaking through the phone and saying, this is what I was told. I still remember the echoes of their voices, like in shocked, like, what are you talking about? Like this. And I remember just hanging up and still in disbelief. And I don't remember much from that point forward, just because everything was kind of grayed out. I then remember going home after I put the kids to bed, because I still had to act like nothing was wrong. I had to pick up my daughter from school, pick up my kids from daycare, and completely go about my day, because I'm still a mom at the end of the day. And that was my pride and joy. So I still put a brave face and continued going forward. And once everybody went to bed, my husband was still at work at the time. He had just started a new job that had him late hours. I had told him while he was at work, despite wanting to tell him, but I felt that I needed to. And I know he got home and he found me in the tub, sobbing. And he immediately jumped in, fully uniformed, clothed and all, and just wrapped his arms around me. And then I don't remember anything else from that. I know that things moved quickly. I went for other follow-up appointments and tried to find physicians or a neurosurgeon or here, couldn't find nothing here. And I have to give thanks and gratitude to my mom. Despite being told that her baby girl had a brain tumor, she went full force trying to find the best doctors trying to find a game plan because I was so out of it. So I have to thank my support system throughout everything because they were amazing. My brother became my anchor. As I was fighting with my own faith at that time. And now I know better. Now I know that God doesn't do anything in a malicious way. And it's just the emotions that you go through. That was one of them. And it brought him and I a lot closer because it brought us through a realization that I know that my road that I was put on was bigger purpose than me. And in the midst of those echoes that I've asked myself, why me? I finally got to hear, why not you? Why not you? And I know why not me. I know why I was put through this. I know that I have a bigger purpose and I have a voice that needs to be heard. And although my battle is far from over, I need to spread light and spread love and spread awareness that you can get through this. Although you may feel alone, you don't walk alone. And I continued going through all of my appointments and going through all of my journey knowing that. And I went through with the brain surgery on May of 27. And immediately right after, my husband noticed that I had complications. Immediately after, he realized that the left side of my face was physically paralyzed. And the struggles and effects that acoustic neuroma leaves on an individual can vary from person to person. The most common challenges an individual may face, the main symptoms is hearing loss, which range from mild to severe. In my case, I knew going into surgery that I was going to be completely deaf out of my left ear, which does provide a lot of difficulties for me now, and I deal with it daily. If I go to loud places, loud noises, too many people talking at one time, or if I'm on the phone, I can't hear. And going through this particular situation during the midst of a pandemic was horrible because everyone's wearing masks, so you don't know. I was at least able to have one good ear. I can just imagine when you're fully deaf, the struggles that they faced dealing with the pandemic. So my heart went out to that.